Hello everybody, I hope everyone is okay. And what happened on Thursday? No video. I'm so sorry, I have to apologize for that. What happened is that my computer broke down and I couldn't get it fixed. I had to buy a new computer and my lovely daughter lent me her old laptop, and even though that was very sweet, I just couldn't run any video editing software on it, and it was just impossible. The only thing I could do was to keep in touch via Facebook, but that's all I could do on that laptop. But now we're back to normal, so expect a video every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and thank you again for your patience. And as promised, today is the second video in our series of how to make a Would You Rather book. We have spoken about what a Would You Rather book is in the first video, and in the second video we made the interior, and today I'm going to show you how I make the cover. So for that we're going over to Tangent Templates, and the reason I go to Tangent Templates is to work out the dimensions that I need for my cover. If you haven't got Tangent Templates, you can work it out from Amazon as well. I just find Tangent Templates so much easier to use. And it's not just about the templates in Tangent Templates, it's about all the other functions that it has. And in this case, we're going to use the KDP helper. That will show us exactly what sizes we need for the interiors and the covers. In this case, we're making the cover, so we're going to go 6 by 9. And if you remember, we made the interior 100 pages. If yours is different to 100 pages, then don't use these dimensions. But if your interior is 100 pages, you can use the same dimensions I'm using here. This is just to tell you how I do it. I use Tangent Templates, but you can work it out the normal way as well. Then I click on white paper and there's no interior bleed, and then I just click continue, and this works out the dimensions for the interior and the cover. In this case we want to know the cover, so we've got a little template here that we can download, which I've already done, and it tells you the dimensions for a print-ready PDF cover. We want to scroll down a little bit, and because we're going to be creating our cover in Canva, I need the dimensions that it gives you right here, which is 12.48 inches by 9.25. If you scroll down, you can also see the dimensions if you're using Keynote or if you're using PowerPoint, which is also a very good program to use for creating covers and interiors. Let's go over again to Canva. So now I know my sizes, which is 12.48 by 9.25. We head over to Canva and we click on Create a Design, and we click on Custom Dimensions. I've already got it in there, 12.48 by 9.25 inches. Remember to click inches here. I sometimes forget and leave it on pixels, and it doesn't work like that. So now we click on Create New Design. This will bring up the exact size that we need, and I uploaded the cover template so that we know exactly where the middle of the book is. So we know what the front cover is and what the back cover is. So here's our front, here's our back. It tells you where the little barcode is going to go so that we don't design anything behind that. This way we can know where the middle is, and we can design our front in this space here, and that way we know exactly where the center is and how it will look like. So what I want to do is I want to start with the background, and for that I'm going to use the free backgrounds that Canva provides. I really like the gradients, and I'm looking for a nice blue color, a nice rich blue color, and I think I'm going to go with this one. Quite like this one. First of all, I would like to say don't copy this cover, because never copy anybody's cover, always make your own. use your own ideas. It's okay to be inspired by somebody's cover, but always use your own. Don't copy anybody. And also I want to say that I'm making this cover very quickly because it's just for the purpose of showing you how I make a cover, the process that I go through to do it, and just to show you also that it can be done very quickly. But take your time, don't rush it. Take your time and make a really nice cover, and I'm sure if you take your time you can make a much better cover than the one we're going to make now. We're just going to show you quickly how to and the process that I use. So now we've got our background. I want to make the cover similar to the interior. It's always good to have a cover that matches the interior of the book. I've seen a lot of books that don't do that. They have an interior, maybe because the interior was already made and they just made their own cover, and that's great, but try and find something that ties everything together. So if you remember, the interior that I made before had some little funny faces, it had some speech bubbles, so I want to recreate this on the cover. So now I'm going to go to Elements and type in speech bubbles. And I want this to look quite cartoonish, like it's aimed at children. So I want this to be quite bright, colorful, and I'm scrolling down and I'm looking for a nice speech bubble that I can use. Let's have a look. I think I'm going to go with this one here. This is quite bright, quite cartoonish, and I'm going to make it bigger so that it fits the space nicely, and I know exactly where the middle is, so I can make quite a good job of finding the right, the middle of the front cover, so that it's not off center. I like it like this, but I think I want this to be brighter, so I'm going to change the color of the speech bubble, and I'm going to pick a nice yellow. That's a little bit too orange for me, so this is better. I'm going to go with this yellow, and then I think I will put my title in here, and the title was The Silly Book of Would You Rather Questions, so I'm going to put that in here, and I want to find a nice font. Let's have a look. Let's go on text. Let's choose a text first just to center this, and I think I'll type The Silly Book of, and then I want to slightly change the font in the next part of the sentence. So let's see if I can find a nice font for this. I've downloaded some fonts from Creative Fabrica, but you can use any of the fonts. I'm just going to choose one that I quite like for this type of book, and I can't remember, I think it was called Fried something. Let me see if I can, Friday Regular, that was the one. Let's have a look if we can use this. The Silly Book of, and I'm going to make the font a bit bigger. That's maybe a little bit too big. Let's see if I can change this a little bit just to make it. I think I will space it a little bit tighter. So maybe I'll do it like this. Let's see. And then I need to add the second part of the text, which is would you rather, and I want to make this quite big. Maybe like this, and I use the same font, and I need to pull this together again. It's a little bit too, that's a bit better, and I think I'll make this in red, so that's slightly better, and I'll put that together a little bit. And then I need the rest of the text So this will be would you rather questions, and again I have to change the font to make it the same as the other one, and already that looks better. I'll make that a little bit bigger, I think. Okay, that I'm quite happy with that. I think I will just play with this a little bit. Oops, it's too close. This might be slightly better. Okay, so I'm quite happy with this, the silly book of Would You Rather questions. And now I need to add the silly faces that I had in the interior. So I'm going to my folders, and again I downloaded this from Creative Fabrica. I've got quite a few things downloaded from Creative Fabrica. You don't have to have Creative Fabrica, but it's made my life a lot easier since I use the subscription. I know I think it's about $29 a month, something like that, but you can also buy individual elements if you don't want to subscribe. The reason I subscribed is because they had an offer at the time, and also you don't have to worry so much about the license. When you have the subscription service, it's very easy to use things. Obviously you have to change them a little bit, but you're allowed to use them for commercial purposes and for print on demand, and the licenses are very clear. Always read the license anyway, just before you use anything. But I find that Creative Fabrica is probably one of the most tolerant and most the best licenses, where it lets you use a lot of their, or most of their, graphics for your books. So that's why I use them. It's just quicker. You know, you can use free photos or free elements. You know, you just have to look for them, and that's what takes so much time, to look for things where you can get the license right, and time is money in this game, because if you want to create a lot of books, or you want to create them in a certain time frame, like for example I'm trying to create quite a few now for Q4, so time is of the essence, and I don't like spending too much time looking for things when I can have them all in front of me, and obviously that costs money. But if you are investing in your business, that's what you need to do. So I'm just going to show you. Obviously you can use whatever other images you want to use, so you don't have to use Creative Fabrica, but I can honestly recommend it. It's so much easier to have that. But there's other places as well that you can use. I'm leaving a link underneath the video in case you do want to have a look at Creative Fabrica. So that's what I'm using at the moment. So let's click on these funny faces that I downloaded, and let's just choose some to use in the book. And I quite like this one. So I'll make this a bit smaller, and I think I'll put this one here. Make it a bit smaller. There you go, there's one. And let's choose a few other ones. Maybe this one. They all look very worried. I think that's quite good. I'm going to turn this one a little bit. There we go. So I'm just putting these things together the way I think they might look quite nice. Obviously, you can take your time. I'm a bit in a rush because I'm making this video and I don't want to take too long and bore you all. So it's just to show you how I make my covers and what I use, and you know, my thinking behind it. So hopefully this will help you. So I'm going to make this one smaller. Oops. Now it's interfering with my text. Let's have a look if I can grab it. There we are. Then I need to pull the text up again. So I think that's okay. So I need something. I need a smiling face, maybe a laughing face, and I'll put this here. Maybe that's looking up at the speech bubble. And actually I'm going to use another speech bubble to just have the subtitle for kids ages 6 to 12. So again, I'm looking for a speech bubble that is cartoonish looking. See if I can find one that goes well. I think maybe this one. Yep, that looks quite nice. So I can put that maybe here, make it a bit bigger. Move this across a little bit. And I'm not too sure about the color of this. I'm going to change the color and maybe make it a darker pink color to match little colors. Always try and match the colors to other elements that you have used. So it's the same color as in this little face here, and the tongue there, and the cheeks there. So yes, I think that looks okay. And now we want to put our text in there. So I'll put that up here, and then I'll say for kids ages 6 to 12. And we'll change the font as well, and we'll make that a little bit childish or childlike. Let's see if I can find Children 1. This one is a good font. Let's use that. That looks quite good, I think. And just to make it stand out, because it's all a little bit too black, so I think I'll make this font a different color. Let's try white. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. I'm trying to center it a little bit. Maybe I'll make it a bit bigger. That's better. So now it's a bit more centered. So I think we could actually leave it like that. So this is how I would make a cover. I'm just going to quickly fix it a little bit. This is the problem. It's very difficult to know when to stop. It's easier to make something like this if you kind of have an idea of what you're going to make. I don't really plan what I'm going to do. I just try different things. Sometimes I have an idea in my head of what I want, but more often than not, I just start creating and don't have a real plan. So yeah, I think this is now the time to stop. That's going to be our front of the book. So you can see the processes that I'm using. What I also like to do is I like to have a blurb or a bit of text on the back of the cover, and a bit of, some graphics as well, because otherwise it looks very boring. So what I normally do is I use the description that I use when I upload the book, and I try and adapt it and put it on the back of the cover. So I've got something prepared already, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. We'll put that in here, and I basically just wrote a description, or the description that I'm going to have when I upload, and I'm just adapting it and copy pasting it in here. As you can see, I'm not an expert on Canva, because I'm sure there's a much easier way to do this. Let's have a look. Okay, so I want to change the font to make it a little bit more serious looking. That's still the very childlike font. I use Arimo a lot for my back covers. So let's see if we can, I think it's slightly squished. This is a little bit better. And then what I also like to do is I like to make it look like it's more boxed in. So I use the alignment feature and make it look more even, like that. And I think the font is slightly off at the top. It doesn't look the same. Let's see, make it all a bit bigger and a bit wider. I think that looks better now. So we've got the title of our book up here, and then a description of what the book is all about. We could make this a little bit more narrow. Let's have a look. I think I'm happy with that. And now all we have to do is just to make sure everything is centered, which I think it is. Check for any spelling mistakes. And we've got our back cover. I think I'll add a few little funny faces to the back as well, just to brighten it up a little bit. So let's have a look. Let's have this one. Make that smaller, maybe that can live here. And maybe just another one. This one's quite funny. And we can put that one here. Right, so I think that's our cover all done. And now all we have to do is remember to take away the template. We don't want to print that. So there you go. That's our cover for our Would You Rather book. I hope that you enjoy making yours. Remember, we download it as a PDF print because that is the higher quality for covers. And like I said before, I mean, you can easily make this kind of cover in other programs such as PowerPoint. There are so many other free programs that you can use to make your covers. This is just one way of doing it. There's different ways of making covers, but hopefully this has helped you with some ideas, some of the things you have to look out for. My advice is to, number one, make the cover similar to the interior or make it match the interior in some way. The other thing is use the same kind of colors so that everything looks well put together. You know, try and match colors so that don't use too many different colors. That's what I'm trying to say, I think. And just make sure that everything is nicely centered. I've seen a lot of books on KDP where they're not very centered, and this is where the template really helps. And if you can't use a template, another trick I sometimes use is I go on Elements and I get a shape, a square shape like this one, for example. I make it bigger, like this. And then I try to find the middle. When you move this square, sometimes you can tell, can you see it suddenly clicked into place? And that is the center of your canvas. So I'll show you again when I move this to one side and I move it back. It should change color. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Can you see how it suddenly had a different line, different color? So you can do it that way, and then you know that is the center of your book. So this is how you make your Would You Rather cover. It's not that difficult. I hope I have showed you that it's not too difficult to do. There are certain tools that I have used, like Canva and like images from Creative Fabrica. But like I said, you can easily create a really good cover in other free software like PowerPoint, Keynote. There's so many different softwares that you can use. Obviously, if you are running this as a business, sometimes it pays to invest in your business. And that's what I've done. Once I started selling more books, I was then able to invest that money in a few tools like Creative Fabrica, Tangent templates, all the things that I use now to make this process a lot easier and a lot quicker. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how you can turn this paperback book into an ebook. And you can do that with a lot of your low content books, as long as they're not low content books where you actually have to write in, because you couldn't have a notebook or diary or journal as an ebook. But books like this, like a Would You Rather book or other children types books, they can be converted into ebooks easily. And I will also make a video one day about how I make my children's books, because it's not that difficult. There's a little trick that I can show you how easy it really is. And you know, it's possible. You can have a children's book out on KDP very easily, very quickly. And I'm actually very proud of mine. It sells quite well. So I will show you how to do that in another video. But the next video is going to be about how we turn this book into an ebook. And for that, I have to upload this onto KDP and I have to wait for it to go live. And then I will be able to make the video that will show you how to do that. So I hope you found this really helpful. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments under the video, or you can also join our Facebook group. Look out for the Home Boss group on Facebook. It's a really lovely, helpful and friendly group. The people I'm so proud of them. They're so helpful to each other. And you can ask any questions and there will always be someone who answers. So it would be lovely if you can join us there. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, because I will show you how to make all kind of low content books on KDP. I also talk about blogging and how you can combine that with your KDP business. And basically it's all about how you can run a business from home and make some money from home or from anywhere. As long as you've got internet and a PC or a laptop, you can do this. So all I have to do now is thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.